The Cleveland Megacorp is up to something. First there was a string of mysterious kidnappings in the area, then an hour ago they drained the power from the surrounding city. Now people are going wild, as if under the influence of some dark entity. It's getting worse by the second. Go to the CMC headquarters and stop whatever's happening before it's too late. Our first operator for the night is codename Burner. Burner has the role of Wretch. Describe the uniquely horrible misfortune which has befallen you. Advance if something happens to you which makes your suffering potentially worse, or if you give your misery some company. Burner once owned a bubblegum factory, before it was stolen from him by a hostile takeover. In his rage, he destroyed the factory and his reputation. This is when Fist reached out to him. Burner's two traits are hate. Something about you just rubs people the wrong way, and you don't mind that at all. When you meet someone, roll plus creative on anything but a success, they hate you or strongly dislike you. When you attack someone because you truly hate them, not just for money or because they are a threat, but because you hate them and you can explain why, they will be absolutely obliterated, HP notwithstanding. Burner's second trait is unfeeling. You experience no emotional introspection and must rely on some other rationale to motivate your decisions under pressure. When you roll creative to deal with something emotional, you may describe how you're using a different attribute and roll using that instead, adding your inverted creative score. Burner's only notable stat is creative, which is -2. In his inventory, he has bubblegum, with funny comic included. He has a brain teaser puzzle, so on a Rubik's Cube, and he has Tech 9. Burner is our ideal, hot-headed, non-feeling goon. Our second operator for the night is codename Majestic. Majestic's role is repentant. Describe a shameful and horrible decision from your past. Advance if something you did atoned for your sins in a meaningful way, or completely change the context in which you view your past deeds. Majestic used to be an interior painter, but one day he'd been teased by his boss too much. Majestic painted the walls red with his boss, and has been on the run ever since. Fist quickly caught up with him. Majestic's first skill is Field. Once permission, you may project a bubble of solid psionic force 10 feet in diameter, which is centered on you and provides anyone inside 3 armor against outside attacks. If you roll the dice plus creative, you can attempt to fashion the field into a different shape. Failing this roll or getting hurt while projecting the field immediately dissipates it. Majestic's second role is Spy. You are a dashing and clever international person of mystery. Major antagonists tend to behave in contrived and theatrical ways around you. If you are captured, you may ask the referee to give you an easy opportunity to escape, and they will give it to you. Majestic's notable traits are Forceful, +2, Tactical, +1. Majestic has a paint gun from the past and a laser watch. Majestic is our well-rounded spy persona trickster guy. He can pretty much do everything. Our third operator is codename Glass. Glass's role is Icon. Describe how you want to go down in history. Advance if something you did brought you closer to becoming a legend, or ensure a group of people would never forget your name. His first trait is Cut. You can easily cut any mundane object, such as a tree, dumpster, or even an oil tanker, into several pieces given enough time. You may also instantly cut something perfectly in half, as long as you identify its unique fracture point by rolling 1d6 and correctly predicting the result. When someone damages you and you're wielding a cutting weapon, you may roll damage to counter theirs. On a mismatch, they hurt you as usual and your damage roll means nothing. But on a tie, you are unscathed, and your opponent is revealed to be cut in half. Glass's second trait is Mascot. You are the beautifully fragile glue which bolsters the team's spirit and binds them together. Your max HP is irrelevant. For the purposes of play, it is always equal to 1. As long as you are alive, your remaining max HP is divided as evenly as possible and added onto the max HP of every other player. Glass's notable stats are Forceful -2 and Reflexive +1. Glass has his signature katana and an extravagant costume, which draws enemy fire. The reason why I picked the name Glass is because he's a glass cannon. He's got a good weapon, he's got a good skill with the weapon. His ability to give everybody his HP is very good. He essentially lives on war dice during combat, and he's pretty much all or nothing to level up. He has to do something risky every single operation in order to level up, or he has to do something really heroic so everybody remembers who he is. So I don't know, in my mind, he pretty much has to throw himself into the fight somehow, do something wicked, and then quickly run away. Our fourth and final operator is Barbarian. Barbarian's role is actually replaced by a trait, and the trait is Thrall. You are bound to an anomalous artifact, a weapon which drives you to commit evil. When you start a mission, roll 1d6 to receive its command. 1 to 3, make a good person suffer. 3 to 4, spread chaos and permanent destruction. 5 to 6, sabotage your teammates. Your role is irrelevant. You can only advance if you have completed this task. All damage dealt by your anomalous weapon is increased 1d6. His second trait is Monologue. When you give an impassioned, ethical, political, or philosophical speech, roll plus creative. On a partial success, you engage your target in a melodramatic speech, temporarily distracting them. On a full success, they see your line of reasoning and try to make an effort to join your school of thought. Barbarian's notable stats are Force +1, Creative +2, and +1 Armor. Barbarian was involved in an earlier operation and therefore has increased HP. He has his anomalous artifact, which is called the Wizard Stick, which is quite literally a big stick wrapped with Christmas lights. He has a Yorick's skull prop and a Colt 45. Barbarian is a terribly double-edged sword for the operation. He's very good on his own, he's got a great weapon, he's got good stats, he's got armor, but he brings everybody else down if he wants to level up. So, that's complicated. The following operation was made by Brandoff, the Offbrand Gandalf. In this video, he shows how you can randomly generate an operation for Fist. The city is black, eclipsed by a lone standing 13-story skyscraper downtown, the Cleveland Megacorp. Fist gets dropped off. When they peer around the alleyway corner to the Cleveland Megacorp, 5 scientists are rushing out of the building being shot. Fist jumps into action, returning fire, but the odds are 4 to 5. Barbarian tries to get closer, but gets pinned down. Glass jumps out of cover to draw their fire. Remember, he only has 1 HP. He dodges every single shot, then he jumps back into cover, and Barbarian does too. The team takes off down the alleyway. They kick down a door into the neighboring building and move through. From the first floor of the building, they open fire at the Cleveland Megacorp security guards across the street. This is a prolonged gunfight, and eventually Fist runs out of ammo. Barbarian throws a chair out the window to break a window of the Cleveland Megacorp building and have it rain glass onto the security guards. During this distraction, Majestic leaps out the window. He rolls Snake Eyes, which means all damage is instantly lethal. He gets shot into a million pieces and falls on the ground. Barbarian tries the chair stunt again, but it doesn't work. This time Glass goes downstairs and tries to cross the street, but gets pinned down by the gunfire from the security guards. Glass uses one of his war die, so he doesn't die himself. Glass tries again and makes it across this time, except this time he's in a tight spot on the other side of a car. He jumps across the car with his samurai sword and deals subpar damage to one of the guards. The guards all quickly open fire on him, but he leaps across the car again, making it unscathed. Except then he realizes he's lost his samurai sword on the other side of the car he just jumped over. During this distraction, Barbarian and Burner make a half-successful charge. Burner jumps across one of the cars to get into melee combat with the guards, but fails. Barbarian at this time rips a car door off and throws it at the security guards, protecting Burner for a moment. After this follows a big ugly scrap in the dark with the backdrop of a lit 13-story tower building. Fist narrowly wins, and Glass is unscathed. Everybody else is beat to rat shit. Barbarian uses his monologue ability to convince the last guard to help them. He tells them the Cleveland Megacorp has some devious plan to mutate people, but he can't tell them anymore. He opens the main locked doors into the building and advises them to take the stairs instead of the elevator because there's a poison trap in the elevator. When Fist opens the door to the stairs, they're covered in a slimy, thick mucus. Burner, trying to relish in his suffering, decides to go first and trudges up the stairs. Nearing the top of the stairs, a random tentacle comes out from nowhere. It wraps itself around Barbarian's ankle, but Barbarian quickly kicks it off. The tentacle, stunned for a moment, gives Barbarian the perfect time to smack it with his mighty stick. He smacks it so hard the tentacle flies off and goes back down the stairs, never to be seen again. On the 13th floor, the lab. Old-fashioned PCs and people floating in green tanks of goo. In the middle of the room, a man is strapped to a wheeled stretcher, yelling, "Help me." Dr. Newton Bennett, the mad scientist leading this operation, with a laser drill in his right hand. He acknowledges Fist and tells them there's nothing they can do, as he starts to walk away with the man on the stretcher into the next room. Fist moves to pursue him, but stops. A dramatic reveal from around the corner. A white hazmat suit melted onto burnt black flesh. A gas mask with broken goggles. It has the appearance of a humanoid, but the team doesn't think it's very human. Glass jumps forward attacking with his sword, but only manages to deal half damage. The hazmat suit monster repels him. After Glass, Barbarian attacks with his mighty stick, which is blocked. Barbarian's picked up and thrown into a bunch of old computers. Burner, following behind Barbarian, tries to throw a monitor, but he's too late. The hazmat suit monster runs forward, quickly kicking Barbarian onto a table. The monster walks up to Barbarian to grab him, but Glass attacks from behind. The monster turns around to grab Glass as well, but it turns out Glass has already dashed past him. Black blood splatters the walls and drips from Glass's katana. The monster falls onto the ground in 2 pieces. The final room. A giant black stone etched with runes seems to be the center of their ritual. The mad scientist threatens to kill the man that is strapped to the stretcher. Barbarian engages the mad scientist in one of his famous monologues, distracting him. Then Barbarian leaps forward to attack with his mighty stick, but the scientist is too quick and strikes Barbarian with his laser drill, killing him on the spot. Barbarian falls to the ground and the ground shakes. Glass dashes forward and attacks with his katana, but the mad scientist blocks it with his laser drill. Right behind Glass comes Burner, but Burner is knocked back and almost hit by the drill himself. Glass attacks and gets a partial result, only dealing half damage. But, using the cut ability, Glass predicts the dive successfully for the first time in the mission. So, when the doctor goes to counterattack, Glass is too quick, cutting off his arm. The drill and the arm fall on the ground. Then Glass cuts his head off. Plump. They free the restrained man, which was tied in the stretcher, and he quickly bugs the fuck out, as in, he runs out of the building. Fist plants an incendiary charge on the 13th floor. They find their way to the roof. A helicopter picks them up, and kaboom. The lights quickly go out in the skyscraper, and the power for the rest of the town comes on. Mission successful.